Hi guys, today we are going to be talking about the 5 things friendship and dating have in common. For those of you new here, welcome. Thank you for joining me. My name is Vani, and here on my channel, I love to talk about all the ways that Black women can live joyously, confidently, and embodying the life of our dreams because we deserve to live the life of our dreams. And on this channel, I talk a lot about relationships, personal growth, my entrepreneurship journey, and so much more. So if that sounds good to you, please like, subscribe, hit the notifications button so that you don't miss a video. And yeah, let's get into the 5 things that friendship and dating have in common because a lot of us have friends and a lot of us are either partnered or dating. So let's get into it. All right. So the first thing that I have learned, and I don't know, people may want to fight me on this, but ghosting is not a gender thing. Men ghost, women ghost, ghost. I don't know. I think a lot of times we like to assign blame to a particular gender, but from what I've learned, you see it in both genders and across all kinds of relationship dynamics. If we are going to admit to ourselves and be honest, we've all been a ghoster and a ghostee. I know I have ghosted people and I have been ghosted. Ghosting is a people thing. We all have done it and we all are guilty. Me, I'm guilty as charged. All right, the second thing that I've learned is that when you tell folks about your interests and your needs, the people that care about you, they want to help you fulfill those needs and they want to make you happy. That is difficult for a lot of us to hear because a lot of us don't get our needs fulfilled in our platonic or romantic relationships. And that behavior is just very normal and natural. If you think about the people that you really love and that are nearest and dearest to you, you want to make them happy, right? You want to fulfill their needs as much as you can, and also within your means too, right? So I'll give you some examples. And these don't have to be extravagant things. I had an ex where for birthdays and anniversaries or just because he would always make me a basket of my favorite things. And y'all, I have a lot of favorite things. I have a lot of hobbies. I have a lot of interests. And one day I asked him, I said, how do you always know what to get me every single time? And he told me, he said, I have something in my notes app. Every time you mention something, I write it down. And I thought that was just really thoughtful. And I've adopted that idea. I adopted that idea in that relationship and with my friends as well. And, he's not the first partner that I had that did something really thoughtful for me. I have a friend who bought me this very beautiful, very expensive vase. She told me not to look up the price. And if you're watching this, I have not looked up the price. It's this beautiful handmade, mouth-blown vase that came directly from Italy. And I love it not just because it's expensive. I mean, it is an expensive, beautiful piece of art. But it really touched me because she was going through a stressful time in her life. And even though she was going through a stressful time, she was closing on her first home, she still thought about getting me a gift to welcome me to my new home. And it's something that, honestly, I'm not ever going to forget. I have a friend who came to visit me. Her sister had died about a month before she came to visit me here. And she came with a beautiful plant, a yellow plant and a yellow planter. And she just gave it to me as a symbol of our friendship and as a symbol of gratitude for our friendship. And I thought that was so lovely because here my friend is, really freshly grieving. She didn't have to get me anything, and yet she wanted to. She bought me like this beautiful token of our friendship. And even a couple of weeks ago, I met up with a girl for the first time, just checking out potential new friends. And I mentioned an artist that I really love. And a week ago, she texted me like, "Oh, do you know this artist is playing at this arena? I just wanted to let you know." And like, honestly, like, I'm a chatty, I'm a chatty person. I say a lot of things, but like the fact that she remembered, one of my favorite artists, and I just met her once, like, it meant a lot to me. And I give you all these examples to say that, like, people wanting to meet and exceed your needs is normal and should be expected. I'm not saying that we should take these behaviors for granted, because I don't. I am extremely grateful for all the friends that I've had and have. But, these things are normal, right? We do these things for people. People do these things for us. And for me, thoughtfulness is one of the values that I hold near and dear, both in romantic and platonic relationships. So it's something that I really look out for. The third thing that friendship and dating have in common is, if they like you, you don't have to ask yourself whether they like you. And this is another thing my friends love to fight me on, and I'm standing on this. This is true. I learned that when people are really fond of you, they show it. When you really like someone, you show it. And yeah, there are cases where someone really likes you, whether romantically or platonically, and they try to play it cool, often to their detriment. But if you think about it, do you really want to be friends with someone who plays it cool and pretends like they don't like you? Do you want to date someone who, even though they like you, give you signals that they don't, or that they feel indifferent about you? It's a very human thing to want to be liked and loved by the people that we like and love. And showing that is just simply not a big deal, right? And I feel like a lot of times when we sense that someone's not that into us romantically or platonically, we become like Miss Cleo, right? We're over here asking our friends, overanalyzing everything, trying to read minds, trying to read motives, making excuses. But that ambivalence that we feel deep in our spirit is our intuition telling us that, like, this person probably, like, doesn't really like us the way we like them. And although it sucks, right? We've all been there, right? We've all been on both the receiving end and the non-receiving end. It's something that is really simple and basic. I'm not talking about the days that we can't, or we just simply don't want to show up as our fullest selves, right? We all have our bad days. We all have times where we don't want to be bothered. But overall, you should feel in both your romantic and platonic relationships that, like, people really like you and they show that like for you. I'm not a fan of fighting for anyone's affection. I'm not a fan for feeling like you have to earn someone's affection or care. I think in any healthy relationship, you don't have to do those things. You don't have to fight. You don't have to earn. You don't have to work or spend your way into another person's affections. It should be natural. It should be normal, and it should be beautiful, right? Like, as human beings, we're wired to love on each other. And if someone's not loving on you, even after you've expressed that need for them, then they're not the right person, right? Before I get into the fourth thing that I have learned, I'd love to know, what are some of your friendships or relationship needs that you have? I love to know in the comments, A, because I'm nosy, and B, because I'm nosy. And I'm also just really curious. Like, we all have different needs and wants in our relationships and friendships, and I'm just always curious to learn, like, more about, like, what you guys want and feel and need in their relationship. All right, so tip number 4, which is, and let me look at my notes here because I did take some notes. Oh, this is a good one. It's not only okay to have standards. You should have standards. And most importantly, you should stick by those standards. I think For a lot of us, in the quest for love and affection, in any relationship, romantic or platonic, we often put our standards by the wayside, loosen our boundaries, do or say or act in ways that are not in alignment with our true selves. And I've learned that in both healthy relationships and in dating, you don't have to do any of that. Like I mentioned before, so many of us are not getting our needs in our relationships, whether they're romantic or platonic. Those needs that I just talked about are the foundation for any healthy relationship. But a lot of times we feel shortchanged because we're not getting those things. If I'm in a relationship where I'm not getting my needs met and I stick around in that friendship or relationship, I'm subconsciously telling myself that this is what I deserve and this is as good as it's going to get. And why? Why should I shortchange myself when there are people out there who will love on me in the ways that I need and the ways that I want? Because I think that's another thing that we forget in this conversation. It's okay to have needs and it's okay to have wants. And there are friends and partners out there who are more than happy to supply your needs and your wants. And this is not saying that we're going to get everything that we want 100% of the time, but there are people out there, right? And I hope that you have experiences in your lifetime. And if you haven't, it is not too late. It is never too late. We shortchange ourselves so much because we just want to be loved, right? And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be loved or having companionship or wanting to be desired. In any relationship, particularly when there are new ones, I always ask myself, is this the way I want to be loved on, cared for, and respected? If the answer is yes, great, we're good to go. If the answer is no, then I don't know. I got some thinking to do, right? My last thing that I've learned about friendship and dating is that it is okay to be discerning and it is okay to be the chooser. A lot of times people are attracted to us, right? Romantic or platonically. They may like the way we look, they may like our energy, they may like our vibe. And although we cannot help the people who are attracted to us, we do have a choice in the people that we allow into our lives. And for me, as I started to get to know myself more, started to become more self-assured and more confident, started to set my boundaries and enforce them, it became a lot easier to kind of discern quality people from people who, I don't want to call them not quality, I want to say people who didn't quite fit my values and the things that were really important to me. And I feel like this is also just a part of like maturing and living life, right? As you get to know yourself more, your likes or dislikes, you also get to know the people that you vibe more with, more or less, right? It's easier to discern who is for you and who is not for you when you really know yourself and when you're honest about your needs and your desires. Because like I said before, there's nothing wrong in having needs and desires. Because there are people that are out there that'll fulfill them for you. And you too, right? It goes both ways. You want to be with someone who you're more than happy to fulfill their needs and desires. And the one thing I like to tell myself is that my life is short, unpredictable, it's fleeting, and I can't waste my life, this one precious gift that I have, on folks who are not going to provide the basic safety, security, love, and respect that I need. And I say this to myself a lot because life really is short, right? A lot of times we feel invincible, but we really don't know when our last day would be. And I always think to myself, if, God forbid, I leave this life before I planned on, because I do plan on living to old age, I want to leave here knowing that I am love, I was surrounded by love, I felt love, I loved on people, I don't want to leave this life not feeling that, you know? Thank you so much for spending time with me today and tuning in. And let me know in the comments below, what are some of the things you've learned about friendship or dating that I did not talk about here? I have a really beautiful, engaged audience, and you guys are like really smart and insightful. So please let me know. And if you like this video, please hit the like button so that I know that this resonated with you. And share this with someone that you feel might resonate with this too. If you want to see more of my content, please subscribe and hit the notification button so you don't miss any of my videos. And until next week, take care. Love you guys so much and see you soon. Bye.